Ladies and gentlemen, let's get real today. Let's talk about the one thing that's been holding you back, the weak version of yourself. We all have it. That voice in your head telling you to hit snooze, to play it safe, to wait until tomorrow. That's the version of you that's been running the show for far too long. And today, I'm here to tell you it's time to kill it. Look, this isn't about being hard on yourself or beating yourself up. This is about getting honest. Because if you want to create real change, you have to start by acknowledging the part of you that's keeping you small, stuck, and scared. That weak version of yourself, it's comfortable. It loves comfort. It loves your excuses. It loves your story about why you can't change. But let me tell you something. That version of you has to die if you're going to build the life you really want. You're not going to kill it in one dramatic moment. You're going to kill it every single day, every morning when you decide to get out of bed and go after what you want instead of hiding from it. Every time you choose to take action instead of overthinking. Every time you silence that voice that says, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I'll do it tomorrow. Because guess what? You are ready. You are good enough. And tomorrow isn't promised. I know this is uncomfortable. I know it's hard. That's the point. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in the moments when you're willing to do what's hard, to push through the resistance, to do the thing even when it scares the hell out of you. That's how you kill that weak version of yourself. You starve it. You stop feeding it your attention and your time. You stop giving it permission to run your life. And let's be clear, the weak version of you isn't you. It's just a collection of habit, stories, and fears you've picked up along the way. It's not permanent. It's not who you are at your core. You are strong. You are powerful. You are capable of so much more than you've been allowing yourself to believe. And it's time to start acting like it. So how do you do it? You start small. You build daily habits that challenge you. You wake up early. You move your body. You feed your mind with things that inspire you, not things that numb you. You surround yourself with people who lift you up, not people who keep you small. And you stop waiting for permission to live the life you want. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to kill that weak version of you except you. This is about taking responsibility. It's about saying, I'm done living like this. I'm done settling for less than I deserve. I'm done listening to that voice that says I can't, because the truth is, you can. And the only thing standing in your way is that weak version of you. So kill it. Kill it with discipline. Kill it with focus. Kill it with every decision you make that says, I refuse to be the version of me that plays small. And remember, this isn't about perfection. You're going to mess up. You're going to have days when the weak version of you wins. That's okay. What matters is that you keep coming back, that you keep choosing to be the stronger version of yourself. Because every time you do, you're getting closer to the life you want. So today, make the decision. Draw that line in the sand. Say, I'm done letting the weak version of me call the shots. Say, I'm done making excuses for why I'm not where I want to be. And then back it up with action. Show yourself that you mean it. Show yourself that you're stronger than the fear, stronger than the doubt, stronger than the habits that have been holding you back. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You're not here to play small. You're not here to live a life that's just okay. You're here to thrive. You're here to grow. You're here to become the strongest, most unstoppable version of yourself. And that version of you, it's already inside you. You just have to be willing to let go of the version that's been holding you back. So go out there and kill that weak version of you. Starve it of your time, your attention, your energy. Feed the version of you that's bold, that's brave, that's hungry for more. And watch how everything in your life starts to change.
We all have that part of us that's been getting in the way, that version of you that chooses comfort over progress, excuses over action, and safety over growth. It's the part that says, I'm not good enough, I'll start tomorrow, or it's too late for me. But here's the thing, that version of you is a lie. It's a collection of habits and fears you've built over years of playing small and avoiding discomfort. And if you're going to step into the person you're meant to be, you've got to confront it head on. Because the truth is, the weak version of you isn't here to help you. It's here to keep you exactly where you are stuck, small, and scared. It's the voice that whispers, "Don't try too hard, you'll just fail," or "What will people think?" It's the same old patterns that keep you doing the same old things, getting the same old results. And let's be real. If you're honest with yourself, you know it's not working. You know that playing it safe isn't making you happy. You know that those excuses aren't getting you anywhere, but it's easier to let that voice win than to push back, because pushing back takes courage. It takes deciding that you're done letting the weakest version of you run the show. This is about taking back your power. Because every time you give in to that voice, every time you choose to stay small instead of taking the next step, you're giving away a little bit of your power. You're letting that part of you decide what's possible, and let's be clear, it's wrong. The weak version of you has no idea what's possible because it's never tried, it's never stretched, it's never been willing to take the risk that growth demands. So here's what I want you to do. Start paying attention. Notice when that voice shows up. Notice the stories it tells you. Notice the way it makes excuses for why you can't, why you shouldn't, why it's too late. And then call it out. Name it for what it is. Fear, habit, self, doubt, whatever form it takes. Because once you name it, you can separate yourself from it. You can see that it's not the real you, it's just a version you've outgrown. And let me tell you something important. Killing that weak version of yourself doesn't mean you're never going to feel scared again. It doesn't mean you're going to be fearless every day. What it means is that you're going to stop letting that fear have the final say. You're going to feel the fear and do it anyway. You're going to show yourself that you're stronger than the excuses and more powerful than the doubt. The way you do this is by taking action. Action is the antidote to fear. Action is what drowns out the voice of the weak version of you. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel brave. You just have to take the next step, because every step you take is proof to yourself that you're not that weak version anymore. Every time you show up when it's easier to hide, you're killing that version of you. You're building a new story about who you are and what you're capable of. It's going to feel uncomfortable, that's the point. Growth isn't supposed to feel safe. It's supposed to stretch you, challenge you, push you to your limits, and in those moments when you want to quit, when you want to go back to the comfort of your excuses, remember this: you're not killing that weak version of you for anyone else. You're doing it for you. You're doing it so you can finally live the life you're meant for, not the one you've settled for. You're going to have days when it feels impossible. Days when that voice is so loud you can't hear anything else. But if you just keep taking the next step, no matter how small, you're going to look back and realize you're not the same person you used to be. You're going to see that you're stronger, more resilient, more focused. You're going to see that you're becoming the person you were always meant to be. So stop waiting for the fear to go away. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's your time. It is your time, and you're the only one who can decide to start. Kill that weak version of yourself by taking action today, by choosing to do what's hard, not what's easy, by refusing to let the old version of you hold you back for one more day. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. You're the one who has to live with the consequences of your choices. So choose to be brave, choose to be disciplined, choose to be the strongest version of you, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard, because that's how you build a life that's not just good enough, it's extraordinary. And that starts right now in this moment with one decision: kill that weak version of yourself and never look back. It's easy to talk about becoming strong, but none of that matters if your daily habits are still stuck in patterns that reinforce weakness. Strength isn't built in the big, dramatic moments. It's forged in the small, daily choices you make, the ones that seem too simple to matter but ultimately shape your entire life. Every single day, your actions are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. So if you're serious about killing that weak version of yourself, You have to start by taking a close, honest look at your daily habits. Think about it. What do your mornings look like? Do you hit the snooze button a dozen times, or do you get up with a sense of purpose? Do you spend your first hour scrolling through social media and comparing yourself to everyone else's highlight reel? Or do you set your intentions and remind yourself what matters most? These little moments might feel insignificant, but they're everything. They're the difference between living life on autopilot and showing up as the person who's ready to conquer the day. If your habits aren't aligned with the strong version of yourself, that's where you need to start. Because you can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. You can't keep telling yourself you're strong if your actions prove otherwise. You have to be willing to let go of the habits that feel good in the moment, but keep you stuck in the long run. That means cutting out the distractions that steal your focus, the excuses that keep you from getting started, and the comfort zones that have become your prison. Let's be real, this isn't glamorous work. It's not always fun. It's not always Instagram worthy, but it's the work that matters most. It's the work of deciding every day to show up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing to move your body when you'd rather stay on the couch. It's choosing to do the hard thing first, not the easy thing that lets you procrastinate just a little longer. It's holding yourself accountable for the small promises you make to yourself, like drinking enough water, like going to bed at a decent hour, like putting your phone down and actually being present. Because here's the thing, strength is a habit. It's built one choice at a time, one action at a time. You can't fake it. You can't shortcut it. You have to earn it, and the only way to earn it is to do the work, every single day. I know it can feel overwhelming. I know you're probably thinking, where do I even start? The answer is simple. Start small. Pick one habit, just one, that you know would make you stronger if you did it consistently. Maybe it's going for a 10-minute walk every morning. Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes to get your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Maybe it's swapping your late night scrolling for an early bedtime. Whatever it is, commit to it. Show yourself that you can follow through on one small promise. And when that becomes part of who you are, stack another habit on top of it. That's how you build real, lasting strength. And let's talk about consistency, because that's where most people get tripped up. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're going to mess up. You're going to have days when you slip back into those old habits. That's normal. But what matters is that you don't let one bad day turn into a bad week, or a bad week turn into a bad month. You recognize the slip up, you own it, and you get back on track, because that's what strong people do. They don't let a setback become a reason to quit. They use it as a reason to recommit. I promise you this, if you start focusing on building strong daily habits, you're going to start seeing yourself differently. You're going to start believing in your own strength, not because someone else told you it's there, but because you're proving it to yourself every single day. You're going to start seeing that the weak version of you isn't who you really are. It's just who you've been when you weren't paying attention. And that's the real magic of this work. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the real you, the version of you that's been buried under years of self, doubt, and bad habits. It's about remembering that you're capable of so much more than you've been allowing yourself to believe. But you can't just think your way into that version of you. You have to act your way there. You have to live like the strongest version of yourself, even before you feel like that person. So take a moment right now to think about your habits. What's one habit you know is keeping you small? What's one habit you know would make you stronger? Don't just think about it. Act on it. Decide today to take one small step in the right direction. Because that's how you start to kill that weak version of yourself, not with grand gestures, but with small, daily acts of discipline and self-respect. And I promise you, once you start, you're going to feel the shift. You're going to see the difference in how you carry yourself, in how you talk to yourself, in how you show up for your life. You're going to realize that the weak version of you isn't nearly as powerful as you thought. Because once you start building habits that support your strength, there's no going back. You'll be unstoppable, and it all starts with the choices you make today. So choose to show up, choose to act, choose to build the habits that make you unbreakable. When you look at your life and realize you're stuck, it's so tempting to point the finger at someone else or something else. You tell yourself you'd be further along if you had more time, more money, more support. You blame your job, your circumstances, the economy, but deep down, you know that's not the truth. The truth is, you've been letting yourself off the hook. You've been making excuses and handing away your power. And if you're going to kill that weak version of yourself, you have to start by taking radical responsibility for your life. Radical responsibility means you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. It means you stop expecting the world to hand you a roadmap or a miracle. It means you stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "How can I?" Because the moment you take ownership of everything in your life, the good and the bad, is the moment you get your power back. This isn't easy. It's not fun to admit that you've been the one holding yourself back. It's not fun to realize that the reason you're stuck is because you've been tolerating your own excuses. But that's the truth, and you have to face it if you want to grow. You have to own the fact that you've been playing small, even if it's uncomfortable to admit. Here's what happens when you take responsibility. You stop waiting for the perfect circumstances. You stop thinking you need to feel motivated every day. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission, because you realize that no one else can do it for you. No one else can wake up for you. No one else can put in the work for you. No one else can decide to be better for you. That's all on you, and it's the most empowering thing in the world, because it means you don't have to wait on anyone or anything else to change your life. You start to see that every choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. When you choose to show up, even when you're tired, you're voting for strength. When you choose to do the work, even when you're scared, you're voting for courage. When you choose to be disciplined, even when it's hard, you're voting for growth. And when you stop making excuses, you're telling yourself that you deserve better, that you're done living a life of half commitments and half measures. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you're never going to mess up again. It means that when you do mess up, you own it. You don't hide from it or pretend it didn't happen. You face it head on, learn from it, and get back to work. Because that's what strong people do. They take responsibility not just for their wins, but for their mistakes. They see their failures as part of the process, not as a reason to give up. The weak version of you loves to blame everyone and everything else. It loves to play the victim. It loves to sit around and wait for the perfect moment to start. But let me tell you, there's no perfect moment. There's only right now. There's only the decision to take one small step today, and another one tomorrow, and another one after that. And here's the thing. When you take responsibility, you're not just changing your actions. You're changing your mindset. You're telling yourself that you're the kind of person who takes charge of their life. You're building confidence in yourself, not because of what you've already achieved, but because of how you're willing to show up every day. That's how you start to see yourself differently. That's how you start to kill that weak version of you, because you're proving to yourself that you're not that person anymore. So ask yourself, where have you been making excuses? Where have you been telling yourself a story about why you can't change? Where have you been giving away your power to things outside of your control? Be honest with yourself, because that's the only way to move forward. It's the only way to start building a life that's truly yours. Once you do that, everything changes. You stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a creator, because that's what you are. You are the creator of your life. You get to decide who you become. You get to decide how you respond to setbacks. You get to decide whether you're going to keep living in the shadow of your excuses or whether you're going to step into your power and become the person you're meant to be. So today, make the decision. Decide that you're done letting that weak version of you have the final say. Decide that you're done blaming other people or waiting for the perfect moment. Take back your power. Own your life, and remember, you're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing it for you. Because you deserve to live a life that's not just okay, but extraordinary. You have everything you need to make it happen. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to decide right now that you're done making excuses and you're ready to take responsibility. That's how you kill that weak version of yourself. That's how you build a life you're proud of. It starts today. It starts with you. And it starts with the decision to stop waiting for someone else to do it for you. Because no one else is coming to save you. It's on you, and you're more than ready. You can't kill the weak version of yourself by living in the past. You can't keep replaying every mistake, every failure, and expect to build something better for your future. Yet so many of us get stuck in these endless loops of regret and self-blame, replaying old memories and beating ourselves up for things we can't change. It's like we're trapped in a prison of our own making, and every time we go back to those memories, we're reinforcing the bars around us. If you want to kill that weak version of yourself, you have to break free from the past and start living fully in the present. Living in the present isn't some fluffy idea you hear in a motivational quote. It's real, practical, and absolutely essential. Because here's the truth, the past is gone. It doesn't exist anymore except in your mind, and every time you let your mind go back there, you're stealing energy from today. You're draining your focus, your drive, your power. The only moment that matters is right now, and the weak version of you doesn't want you to see that. It wants you to stay stuck, to keep reliving your mistakes, so you'll never have to face what's possible for you today. I get it. It's hard to let go of the past, especially when you feel like it's defined you. Maybe you made some decisions you're not proud of. Maybe you've failed more times than you can count. Maybe you've been hurt, betrayed, or left behind. It's easy to think that those experiences are part of who you are, but they're not. They're things that happened to you. They're chapters in your story, not the whole book. And you can't keep reading the same chapter over and over again if you want to find out what happens next. When you stop letting the past dictate your present, you create space to become someone new. You create space to make choices that align with the person you want to be, not the person you used to be. You start to see that you're not stuck in your past unless you choose to be. You start to see that you have the power to write a new chapter, no matter how many times you've messed up before. That's where your strength really shows up. Because it's not about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about choosing to learn from it, not live in it. It's about taking those lessons and using them to fuel your growth, not to keep you small. When you do that, you stop letting your past mistakes define your future. You start to see them as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. This takes practice. It takes awareness, because your mind will try to pull you back into those old patterns. It'll try to convince you that you're still that person who made those mistakes, who fell short, who got hurt. But every time you catch yourself going back there, you have a choice. You can stay stuck, or you can bring your focus back to right now. You can remind yourself that you're not that person anymore, not if you choose to act differently today. It's about asking yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? What's one small action I can take today to build the life I want? Because that's all you ever really have, this moment. And when you start to stack those moments, one after another, you build momentum. You build confidence. You build a life that's not defined by your past, but by the choices you're making right now. I want you to really hear this. You don't have to carry your past into your future. You don't have to keep punishing yourself for things you can't change. You don't have to keep proving to yourself that you're not enough. You've already survived your past. You're here right now, which means you're stronger than you think. It means you have what it takes to create something better, but you have to stop living there. You have to stop letting those old stories keep you from writing a new one. Because the truth is, the weak version of you loves to live in the past. It loves to stay stuck in those old patterns, those old excuses. It loves to tell you that nothing can change because you've already failed too many times. But that's not true. It's a lie that keeps you small, and every time you choose to live in the present instead of the past, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than that lie. So make that choice today. Let go of what you can't change. Let go of the stories that say you're not enough. Let go of the idea that your past defines your future, because it doesn't. You define your future by what you do today, by the actions you take, by the way you show up for yourself and your life. And when you do that, when you decide to live in the present and take ownership of your choices, you're not just killing that weak version of yourself. You're replacing it with a stronger, more resilient, more powerful version of who you really are. A version of you that's not defined by the past, but by the possibility of what you can create right now. So let today be the day you stop living in the past. Let it be the day you take back your power and start living in the only moment that matters, this one. Because this moment is yours, and it's the only place where real change, real growth, and real strength are possible. You've got this. Now go out there and prove it. There's something about embracing discomfort that terrifies most people, and I get it. We're wired to avoid pain, to seek comfort, to look for the easiest path. But if you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you've got to learn to run towards discomfort, not away from it. Because real growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you're on the edge of what you know, when you're willing to do what others won't, and when you're willing to endure what's hard so you can get to what's great. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it's a trap. It's that voice in your head telling you to hit snooze instead of getting up early to work out. It's the part of you that says you'll start tomorrow instead of today. It's the excuse that says you're too tired, too busy, or too overwhelmed to do what needs to be done. But let me tell you, that voice is the voice of the weak version of you. It's the voice of the person who's okay with mediocrity, who's okay with settling, who's okay with living a life that's just fine instead of extraordinary. And I'm telling you right now, you are not meant to live a life that's just fine. You're meant to push yourself. You're meant to stretch, to struggle, to do things that scare you. Because every time you choose to step outside of your comfort zone, you're building a stronger version of yourself. You're proving that you're not going to let fear or discomfort control your life. This is the difference between the people who talk about what they want and the people who actually get it. The people who win aren't the ones who always feel confident or always have the perfect plan. They're the ones who are willing to feel the discomfort and do it anyway. They're the ones who know that fear is a sign that you're about to grow. They're the ones who understand that if you're not a little bit scared, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. Discomfort is where you find your edge. It's where you discover what you're really made of. And when you start to embrace it instead of avoiding it, everything changes. You stop seeing it as something to fear and start seeing it as something to welcome. Because discomfort isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something important. It's a sign that you're growing. The weak version of you wants to stay small. It wants to avoid risk, avoid failure, avoid anything that might hurt. But the stronger version of you, the one you're trying to build, understands that discomfort is the price of admission for a life that matters. It understands that if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you're not really willing to grow. So here's what I want you to do. Start seeking out the things that scare you. Start doing the things that make you a little bit nervous, a little bit unsure, because that's where the magic happens. That's where you start to kill the weak version of you, by proving to yourself over and over again that you can do hard things. It doesn't have to be massive. You don't have to turn your life upside down overnight. Start small. Start by saying yes to things you'd normally say no to. Start by pushing yourself to do one thing every day that challenges you, because those small acts of courage, stacked over time, become a life of strength. And here's the secret: the more you practice this, the easier it gets. You start to build a new identity. You start to see yourself as someone who doesn't run from challenges, but runs towards them. You start to realize that discomfort isn't something to be avoided, it's something to be embraced. Because every time you face it, you're getting closer to the life you really want. Think about it. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. That new job, that healthier body, that better relationship. It's all going to require you to do things that aren't easy. It's going to require you to get up early, to have the tough conversations, to say no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's right. And the weak version of you isn't willing to do that, but the strong version of you, the one you're creating every time you choose growth over comfort, that version is unstoppable. So let today be the day you stop choosing comfort over growth. Let it be the day you stop letting that weak version of you call the shots. Decide that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the pathway. It's the sign that you're exactly where you need to be, and it's the only way to become the person you're meant to be. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying you're never going to feel scared, but I am saying it's worth it. I'm saying that every time you face discomfort head on, you're getting stronger, you're getting braver, you're getting closer to the life you know you're capable of living. So don't wait, don't make excuses, don't tell yourself that you'll start tomorrow. Start today, start now, because the weak version of you is counting on you to stay small. But the strong version of you, that version is ready to break out, and it all starts with the decision to stop avoiding what's hard and start embracing it. That's how you kill that weak version of yourself, and that's how you build the life you were born to live.